This goes to show I'm not going to do this again because I don't want to end up with sad stalks of Aeoniums that look like Dr. Seuss trees. Hi everyone, welcome to Kathy's Containers. Well, today we're going to talk about growing succulents and dealing with pests. The insects that you get most often with succulents are mealybugs, at least in our area, that's common. And how do you treat those without killing your plant and being safe at the same time, especially if you're growing inside? I have a cautionary tale to tell you about because I have a collection of Aeoniums and I used the wrong insecticide and almost killed the entire collection. So here's a few photos of when I had them growing outside in the summertime, then again in the wintertime after I brought them in. I got these as cuttings back at the end of the summer and potted these all up. So they just had bare stalks. There was no roots or anything, and they did really well. So they took off just fine, brought them inside for the winter. And as you can see, even inside, they were looking beautiful. Now, these are winter growers, so technically in the cooler temperatures is when they put on more growth. So down in the basement under my grow lights, which are just LED shop lights, it's probably 65, 66 degrees there, and they did really well. They liked that and put on a lot of growth. Now, some of them that have some more color to them that are green and turn a little of the burgundy-ish color or reddish color, they have reverted back to their all green state because they just don't get enough sunlight down there with those lights. But other than that, they are growing very healthy. So what started all this is I found a kalanchoe that had some mealybugs on it, and it was next to the Aeoniums. And so I sprayed down the kalanchoe with this insecticide, and I thought, well, since the Aeoniums are close by and they are kind of susceptible to this because they have lots of little nooks and crannies that the mealybugs can get into, I thought, well, I'll spray them down too, and we'll be all set and not have any issues of mealybugs. Well, unfortunately, this is what happened. See all those brown spots and pits in the leaves? That's what the insecticide did to the Aeoniums. And it proceeded to basically kill the leaves, and all the lower leaves started falling off. So let me show you some of the other ones and what they look like, because it's pretty pitiful. This one in particular really made me sad because this is called Mardi Gras, and it was gorgeous. I'll show you another photo here of what this one used to look like, but as you can see, it's lost its lower leaves. It basically looks like it was chewed up or burnt or something. Well, probably was burnt by the insecticide, and it's got these pits in it, but this thing was probably like that big. Here's another one. Now it just looks like a sad little tree. This one was probably out to here also. And now this one on the remaining leaves, they really do look very healthy. It doesn't have any of the pitting that that green one had. So maybe it was a little more resilient to that insecticide, but it pretty much lost all its leaves. This is a really unique one, kind of a dinner plate style. And it was huge, big, probably 8 or 10 inches across. I couldn't even hardly water it because the container, it covered the container. But as you can see, there's all these pits in the leaves, almost like it got hit by hail or some bug just randomly goes around and starts chewing little holes in it. And you can see how the lower leaves just were dying off. And I've already pulled off all kinds of lower leaves on these, and it's still... this one still is taking a hit. But then we have another one like this that, granted, it looks pretty sad because it's so tall and lanky and not many leaves left. But the remaining leaves look really good. So it's bouncing back pretty good. So thank goodness I didn't spray them all. So why don't we go downstairs, take a look at them really quick, and I can walk you through the ones that were doing okay, I didn't spray, and then what happened with the ones that I did spray and what they look like now. So this is the side that didn't get sprayed, and you'll notice they're doing very well. That's a sunburst Aeonium on the left, a peperomia raindrop on the right, and then all of these, you'll notice the leaves are turned down, but they're fine. It's just because they aren't getting enough light indoors here, but they'll bounce back once I take them outside. Here's a little sun cup Aeonium, and that one did not get sprayed. Here's a regular sun cup, non-variegated version, didn't get sprayed. And then those 3 in the back were also ones that did not get sprayed. So I'm really glad because those are some of my favorites. That's a set of folium that's in the back there. And that pretty voodoo, I believe, is the purple one. And I wish I had a name on this one because I love those teeny little red stripes in the leaves. Teeny little leaves. Now this guy right here did get sprayed, but he's doing rather well. Very minimal damage to the leaves that were left, and they look really nice and plump. This guy's in the back. He's doing pretty well, even with the lost leaves. Now here's another one of those light green ones, just like I had in the video, that has a lot of pitting. Red ones seem to be doing well, and that poor little kiwi, oh, he looks horrible, all burned on the edges. So you're probably wondering how I figured this out. Well, I happen to be telling a friend of mine who also has a large Aeonium collection, told him how this had happened. I had sprayed them. Now all of a sudden they have all these brown spots all over them. Well, I used that same spray on other succulents and didn't have any issues. And he said, probably because that spray is an oil base, and that's what affected the Aeoniums. They can't take that. And so putting 2 and 2 together, I'm like, okay, I better rinse these off before any further damage is done. So when I got home, I literally took every single one that had been sprayed, ran it under running water, rinsed it off real good, cleaned off any of the dead leaves, got rid of everything, cleaned them all up, and set them back in their spots under the lights. Now, what you saw in that previous video is after I'd washed everything off. So now they're starting to recover a little bit. Not that they put on any huge growth, because this only happened a couple weeks ago, but at least they aren't getting any worse. So now let me tell you about the insecticides that I do use that work well, won't damage your plants, and the one that I did use that should not be used on the Aeoniums. First off, Safer Insecticide Killing Soap. It's a insecticidal soap. This is a concentrate, so you mix it with water. You can put it in a spray bottle, use it as needed. You only mix the quantity you need. You don't want to mix a whole gallon of it and have it sitting around. It'll lose its effectiveness. So don't mix a whole bunch at a time. But this is great because what happens is if you spray the mealybugs or insects, it basically suffocates them. The second one that I recommend is Bonide Systemic Insect Control. Now this one I would use when things are outside. I probably wouldn't use this inside. I don't think it's necessarily made to be used indoors. So the way the systemic works is that you spray your plant, it gets into the tissue of the plant, and then when the bugs come along, they chew on your plant and basically die from the insecticide. The systemic is something I use in the fall before I bring all my succulents inside. I'll spray everything down so they have a good defense for when they're brought inside, and maybe I accidentally bring some insects in with them. They'll get killed quickly as soon as they start to chew on the plants. Another insecticide that works really well is Bonide's 8 insecticide control. And that was, I used that one when I found spider mites on one of my Hoyas. So that's a good one that can also be used indoors. It's safe to use indoors. This is a concentrate, so mix only what you need and then use it and discard whatever's left over. Don't leave it sitting around. Now this is the insecticide I used on the Aeoniums that caused the damage. But now I have to say I've never ever had any other issues on any of my other succulents when this has been sprayed. And how I use this is when I bring things in the fall. Sometimes if you want a quick fix, make sure you kill any creepy crawly things that you might be bringing in, including spiders or ants or whatever. I've sprayed the plants down with this. Never had a problem. I guess I just never sprayed any of the Aeoniums to have ever had this issue come up before. Well, when I did the spray inside, it was a quick fix. I knew it was good to use indoors or outdoors. So that's when I sprayed the Aeoniums and didn't give it a second thought. Read the directions. Don't just take my word for it. Read the directions, but it's great for other household insect problems. Ants, spiders, other things you might have. And that's really what it's made for. It just so happened it also worked good on the plants too. I hope you liked this video and you learned something too. And like the old adage says, you don't make the same mistake twice. Well, this goes to show I'm not going to do this again because I don't want to end up with sad stalks of Aeoniums that look like Dr. Seuss trees. Thanks again for watching and please subscribe. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and until the next video, stay healthy.